welcome back to Ancient Aliens in Modern Times. I'm so excited because this is our very first episode with Stephanie as our official co-host. So, round of applause for Stephanie. Welcome, officially in to this incredible space that I've begun to build, and we are going to really take off now this year. So, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yay.
For what is to come.
We want to connect with you, the listener, in this episode to really talk to you about like where this podcast is going, why we've come together, why we've decided to take this on together instead of me moving forward, me, myself, and I, and how we met and what's to come. And yeah, so welcome to this very first episode. And so Steph, let's you tell the story, the wonderful story of how we
met.
in quotations met, because we've not actually ever physically
Met.
been in the same place together.
That's so true. So I love this story because it really, and you said this earlier, that energy doesn't lie. So the fact that we, provinces away in the same country, of course, found each other is so beautiful. And like, thank you, Instagram. Uh, Instagram has brought me so many beautiful connections, very honestly. And I remember your account coming up. So I saw it was your New Earth Reiki account. And I remember, I think it was the episode actually before you asked me to record with you. There was this lovely healer named Christy, and she was doing a healing episode. I tuned in. I really enjoyed. She and I briefly connected on Instagram, and then I think I remember messaging you and just saying, I really enjoyed the episode. I love your content. I think I was really drawn to you because you are you're not scared to share truth. And I
Mhm.
loved your sense of humor. I really loved your meme drops. I think that's what it was, is I loved your meme drops that I was like, thank you, someone else who isn't afraid to say things that are maybe offensive to someone on this planet. So
Guaranteed offensive.
guaranteed offensive. And you
Guaranteed
too, right?
offensive.
So you were someone that almost gave me a little bit more courage too to, share my truth. And so I think we just connected that way. And then I remember you asking if I wanted to record an episode with you. So that was
Yeah.
what began everything. And then it just turned into like thousands of voice messages on Instagram with us just gabbing about the state of the world, esoteric things, books we've read. We also love to both research. I think that's what I love about you is we love to
Yeah.
read. We love to break down thought and concepts, and I still sometimes am offended by them, but I'll still talk about them, right? So so I just loved how we found such a commonality and how we digested information and truth. And honestly, when you asked me to do this with you going forward, there was not even a question in my mind. It was a yes immediately. And yeah, I just like I'm so excited for what we're going to create together, and I can't wait to just, instead of sending all of these voice messages back and forth, we're going to talk about it on a public platform.
Yeah. Into our crazy twisted
Yeah.
minds of humor that is guaranteed to offend many people. And I think so what I really like about our coming together story is that it was through the ethers, we'll call it, the
Mhm.
online world web, that we met. But what we both do is like we're both Reiki masters. And what's really, really cool about Reiki is that we can send distance Reiki.
Mm.
And how impactful distance Reiki is just as impactful as it is when you're in person. And so for us to like establish like a really, really strong foundation in our friendship through the ethers just
Mm.
proves again that Reiki is real. Not that I need proof of that, I know this. Um, but the fact that energy is transversible through time and space,
Absolutely.
because those voice notes wait a day before they're listened to sometimes, but it's like we're right there with each other. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. I know like we did the 3 episodes together and we couldn't stop fucking talking. Um, like we obviously have a lot to talk about, so why not let's just do this together? Because the other thing that I like about us is that while we do have a lot of similarities, we also have differences, right? And so I think a big point of this podcast and like where we both want it to go is looking for truth in our differences, right? And so, like, for me, and you'll hear me say this so many times, whether you're like in my courses or follow me on the gram or follow me here on the podcast. Um, I believe that truth lays at the intersection of all perspectives. And so, like, what I really mean by that is that like God lives in all of us, right? Like
Mhm.
we are all of God and we are all with God. And when I say God, I'm not talking about like Yahweh of the Old Testament. I'm talking about like our one true creator that is
Mhm.
above all, and in all and within all and
Mhm.
all encompassing, just like the all, right?
Mhm.
Some people will call it like, okay, I'm getting off topic here. Let's go back. Sorry. So what where the truth lies and where I want the podcast to go
Mhm.
is that since all of us are with God and of God, we all have different opinions and different perspectives of the world because
Mhm.
we are all seeing things from different angles. And so there's all these different belief systems that exist from all these different perspectives of humanity. And I don't think that any of those are truly wrong, but what I do think is that none of them are truly right.
Mhm.
But where we find the truth within those is we look for the patterns that they all have, right? And
Yes.
so when we can find the perspectives of like where they all are the same within different points of view, and
Mhm.
we can look for those similarities within those so many different aspects of God, that's where the truth is where they all overlap, where all the truth is. And so we have to be willing to go into those spaces that we don't believe, that we think are batshit fucking crazy, and we
Mhm.
have to look at them and not just glance. We have to fucking give it a chance
Yes.
to try to understand. Because if we don't do that, we'll always be fucking pigeonholed in this like very narrow mindset,
Mhm.
of what is true and what isn't, and then we're just missing out,
Yeah.
like.
And I
So if
think
you're here listening, sorry, if you're
no.
here listening, then I want you as the listener to go into the uncomfortable and also bring your fucking batshit crazy ideas to us too. Like
Yeah.
we want to know all of it. We're not here to judge. We're here to absorb.
Yeah. Beautifully said, Mel. Like that was honestly, she dropped that a little earlier. I was like, we need to put that on a t-shirt or something. That was so beautifully said. And I think you hit on something really beautiful too, because as we are all emanations of Source and of God,
Yes. Oh, that's
the
beautiful.
messages are going to be delivered through people and energies that you may not love, and those are the ones
Mhm.
that you need to listen to more. Like if I offend you, good, because it's shining something back at you, and you're going to look at that and go, well, why is she thinking that way, and
Yeah.
why do I not agree with her, right?
Why
So
am I
if Melanie,
uncomfortable?
yeah, why am I uncomfortable? So if Mel and I are just mirrors that help you to see information in a different light, or to see yourself in a different light so that you can really understand why you believe what you believe, all the better.
Yeah.
Because we don't say things all the times. Like I don't say things and elicit a negative reaction by choice. I say it and it is what it is. Sometimes the reaction isn't great. Sometimes it is, right? But I think what I love that you hit on too, Mel, is that we're here to find what brings us together, not what
Mhm.
divides us. We have
That's
enough
right.
of things on this planet that divide us. So let's
Yeah.
have these beautiful, healthy discussions that may piss people off, may piss me off. Um, But isn't that how we learn? Like, isn't the discomfort where we really find the truth?
Yeah, like you do not learn how to walk without falling down.
Bingo.
I say as my 10-month-old, almost 11-month-old is trying to learn how to walk. But yeah, like that's it, right? Like that's exactly what we want for Ancient Aliens in Modern Times is
Mm,
we want a variety of people here that are willing to set their egos aside and set
mm,
their discomfort aside to grow together. And like maybe we grow to the same place, maybe we grow to different places, but no matter what we do, we're growing
mm.
while we're learning this information. So I'm really, really excited to dive, even further into our investigation of like where the ancient world has met up with the modern world.
Mm.
Because that's the other aspect that you and I both bring to this table is that we're
Yeah.
both deeply fascinated about the ancients,
Hmm.
um, as well as trying to connect those pieces of that ancient world to the fuckery, the sheer
Yeah.
fuckery that is happening in the New World Order today.
Yes.
Like,
Legit.
okay, Mark Carney.
Yeah. And it's funny because we see these emanations of what happened in ancient times and what took
Mhm.
place. And are we not seeing the same like hologram of what we experienced in that ancient time happening all over again, just with a different physical style and a
Different
different in a
characters.
different era with different characters,
That's the
and
same
I'm
thing.
one of those people, and I feel like we've discussed this before. I fully believe that those souls that are still continuing with the fuckery were the same souls that were doing it in ancient times. They've just reincarnated or they've cloned themselves to continue, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
Uh,
it's not really
both.
new.
Both of those things I think are true. I think there's also like an element of like where you can like upload your consciousness from one
Mhm.
avatar to the next without
Mhm.
like and I think like South like talks about that too and like the
Yeah.
halls of Amente and like everything that I've learned about the halls of Amente is like it's no place that you actually want to go. Um I had I received knowledge of like a friend of a friend who like went to this like women's circle and this lady was like guiding them in this meditation and into the halls of Amente and
Ooh.
I was like, whoa, 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 the fuck you did? You just opened up a portal of fucking straight demonic access into your home. What are you doing? But like, that's the other thing, like we kind of talked about before we got on the call or the recording here is like, how we have all been deceived, like
Uh,
all of us.
yeah.
No one is above deception, right? And there are some extremely smart um entities, we'll call
Mhm.
them, beings, um that, just they want to control. And so they're gonna like slip on in to these women's
Mhm.
circles, to these spiritual woo-woo love and light places and they're going
Yeah.
to claim to be of the light and
Mhm.
us noobs and beginners and us people who are like dying to learn the truth and dying to be included and dying to be loved, like all of these things about these like the most vulnerable people. And I think vulnerable people get into spirituality because we're seeking that space.
Mhm.
um and
And
so as soon as these
connection.
like and connection, yeah,
Mhm.
yes. And as soon as these like beings come in and of like, would you think they're gonna show up and be like, I'm a bad guy, I'm here to take over your body and rule you? Or do you think it might be easier for them to be like, I love you, you're beautiful,
Mhm.
I will keep you safe forever?
Yep.
I don't know what the voices are, but it's happening.
I like it though.
So they're
Paint the
gonna come
story for us.
they're gonna like deceive us and make us think that they're like all this like good things and make us
Yes.
feel good and want us feel included. And then once they have their fucking hooks and claws into us,
Mhm.
then they're gonna lead us astray and away from
Yes.
Creator, from Source, from God, which, you've experienced, I've
Yep.
experienced, where it's like yeah, we're like praying to entities instead of
And
God.
I think that's important that you said that, because I think the reason why we speak about it now, I'm not here to tell people that what they're praying to is wrong and that it doesn't exist. It exists, very much so. It's not false, it's fully there. But are you working with something that is connecting you to source, or is siphoning your energy and your power away from source, right? And, I think
That's a
a
good
lot of
question.
us, right? And I think a lot of us are, and Melanie and I talk about this because we have been deceived. We have gone through the story of, my first connection, and I don't want to go into this in depth because this is kind of like a hot topic right now that can be very triggering. But angels, like angels was one of my first connections into kind of I say this in quotations with my fingers, the spiritual world.
Mhm.
And not saying they don't exist, not saying that even they're bad, but what I started doing was I started praying to angels and I stopped praying to God. I stopped
Mhm.
connecting my emanation of God, which is like my soul in this vessel right now. And I stopped literally using the word God and I started saying angels, and then I would talk, 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 right? So
List them all
for
out.
me, yeah, like for me, that was pretty like astonishing to kind of sit back and go, whoa, like I actually was maybe not connecting to what was going to be of the most love, of the most safety. Um, and so, yeah, so I think that that can be very confronting when we realize those things too. And yeah, sure, our ego maybe be a little bit hurt, but also don't you want to know the truth, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at, because this has been like again a recent topic. Um, but yeah, so I think it's just like we talk about it because we've been there. We're not just trying to be dicks and, come in and be like, they're not real. You're wrong. I know more than you. Like, I know things, but I don't know a lot. There's a lot I don't know.
Yeah. No, none of us are above deception, right? And I think that's like, why we bring this up is like to let you guys know that we've been there. We've thought we knew what was true and what was right.
Mm,
And we've eaten humble pie,
yeah,
many times I have eaten humble pie. And
myself as well.
I and I'm sure I'll eat it again.
Yeah. And that's another key thing. We are not immune from being deceived in the future. However, we can do some things to help ourselves not have that happen again.
That's right. And so I think that's like a big aspect of the podcast and where this is
Mm,
going is like not only is it like intuitively based, it's
mm,
also research based. And I think that's like what you said is that what connects us too is we both really love to read
yeah.
and to learn things and so that's where, we're really grounded in like these two aspects of truth is research, is literature, is
Hmm.
what was written and
Yep.
came before us by
Hmm.
people that were probably smarter than us that we can learn from, and what like feels right in that,
Hmm.
right? And like how to really center ourselves in our own inner knowing because God does live within us and
Hmm.
God is the ultimate sense of truth. And so when we can be right with God and when God can be right with us within us, we will have that like internal compass that will help guide us to discernment, right?
Yes.
When we're reading these ancient things, right? And when we're reading modern things, because you had me watch the most fucking boring. Not only did I watch it, Stephanie, I paid for it on Amazon Prime. Like,
Done.
okay, sorry for the listeners that think this shit is cool because it is cool. Like, it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
like what is it called? The Age of Disclosure? Is that
Age
what it
of
was?
Disclosure, the new UFO documentary that has come out on Amazon Prime for 24.99. You
You
can
have to
watch it
pay
too.
for it. So they want the information out, but they want you to
Mm,
only get the information if you pay for it. But the information, so like the whole documentary is just a bunch of interviews of like government or ex-government officials
hmm.
who are all
And whistleblowers.
whistleblowers,
Yep.
right? And so like the point of this documentary is these are all very, very credible people.
Hmm.
And so it's proving their credibility, but it's also proving what they witnessed in regards to UFOs and spacecraft and extraterrestrial beings in that they've seen in physical form. And
Hmm.
so while it is great for the layman,
The muggle,
the muggle as you call them,
my favorite
um,
term.
I already know all of that.
Yeah. And I felt the same, but I think there's a lot of people on this planet that needed to see it that way,
I agree. And
you know?
brings me back to my point of
Hmm.
that we must be willing to
Hmm.
look at the information
Hmm.
from a different perspective so we can find where the interceptions of truth are. And
Absolutely.
so and bring it all back together because that's really why we're here. We're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Um and so if you the listener, you know something, you want us to talk about something about what's going on then that might be similar to what's going on now, type it in the comments. We want to hear from you. We
Please.
want this to be an engaging place. So let's
Hmm.
kind of shift focus into like what our plan is
Sure.
for where we're going with this. So do you want to tell our wonderful friends what should we call them? Should we call them like our alien like
Ooh,
like we need
we have to think
maybe
about that.
yeah, we need like a name for our listeners that's not just listeners. That's so lame. Um, you guys need to be like our family, like our little
Yeah,
alien tribe of
a little community.
interdimensional, confrontational. I don't know. Y'all with it. Okay, so where are we going? What's the plan?
So Melanie and I, we have a plan to get some episodes in the hopper before we get them to you guys. So we're going to be releasing, well, I guess you'll be listening to this when we release this, but we decided that we really wanted to actually bring this information forward to you at the real new year, the real beginning of the new year. So we're going to be releasing an episode per week. And we're going to have some really beautiful episodes like this where we have discussions, research based, specific topics. But even more so, the episodes that we're really excited about are our healing episodes. And this is something that Melanie had already kind of established. But really, even more importantly, is we want to hear from you as to what you would like these healing episodes to be based around. So, even Melanie, for instance, listed an option like if you're dealing with like everybody's getting sick, everybody's got a cold or something like that. That's very basic. But yeah, of course, we can create something for you for that. Are you wanting to explore more frequencies, sound frequencies? Are you needing support moving through the heart or expanding your heart coherence and your connection to your heart, right? So, a request based subscription healing package. And so we're going to have two released per month. So biweekly is kind of the plan. And you can subscribe for that on Spotify, I believe. And
Yeah.
are we also
Yeah.
doing that on YouTube too?
We'll see if we can figure out the logistics of that.
Right now,
But for sure
Spotify.
on Spotify. If you're listening on
Um,
YouTube,
yeah,
come
did I
follow us
miss
on
anything, Mel?
Spotify.
Did I miss
Yeah,
anything?
so like the subscription will be we're gonna do Steph will do a healing treatment once a month and I'll do a healing treatment once a month. So those will come out bi-weekly for you, the listeners. And so it's like $5 a month, and then you get two treatments a month, which I think is phenomenal steal of a deal. And we also we like she said, we want this to be very engaging. We want you guys to come on this journey with us, right? Like not just
Mhm.
watch us, but be here with us. So we're gonna base those healing treatments on requests. And if there's no request that month, and then we'll just kind of tap into the energy
Yeah.
and do our intuitive thing. And Steph's a sound healer and a Reiki master, so it's like, you get like a double bang for your buck with her. And then with me, I'm mostly focusing on Reiki and the chakras. So I'm really, really in there with the energy body. And I work alongside of Yeshua. So in my treatments, Yeshua is also always present.
Mm.
So that's like a bonus add-on if you want to become a member. But then like the broadness of the podcast itself is really going to be like our first like shebang of episodes. We're going to really talk about, and then the immediate ones to follow. We're going to talk about Reiki, and like what Reiki means to Stephanie, what Reiki means to me, how we both kind of grew our practices, and the way in which both of us learn, the way in which both of us teach, because it is different. Her and I are different in this, and I think there's points where her and I don't agree on certain aspects
Mm.
of how she does it and how I do it. But we're also like, again, showing you guys that like we don't have to agree to
Mhm.
do things from the heart and with God and for God.
Mhm.
And so I think that's honestly it's one of my favorite parts about her and I coming together is that we have left room for differences. So yeah, the first like handful of episodes are really going to be about Reiki. We're also going to be like focusing, no, not focusing, but we're going to be adding, because we're readers, there's always going to be books.
Mhm.
There's always going to be books for us to share with you. So if you're also the researcher, which you probably are if you're here listening to this, you're going to be inundated with books to read. And then like following those Reiki episodes, we're going to dive into, super excited for this,
I'm so excited.
um creation stories. Okay? From a multitude of perspectives.
Mm.
So, we want to learn about the creation of the earth, the creation of mankind, and we want to learn it from a bunch of different places that have recorded it. So,
Mhm.
we're going to go into that and we're going to look for the overlaps. Yeah, and so like that's where we're kind of like our starting off platform is going to go, and then we'll just grow from there. So, I'm and those so all of those episodes, our educational episodes are all going to come out Tuesday mornings. Okay, every week, one a week. And then bi-weekly for the members, getting your Healy treatments, and then we want to bring on guests.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you have something to say about this, contact us, like get into our DMs, send us an email, whatever that may be, because we do want to have this an open
Yeah.
house, like let's go, let's learn from each other. So yeah, what else is that, do you think, is there anything else we wanted to cover that we've
think
missed?
I think you got it, girl. I think we
Yeah.
covered everything. And, we do have some other plans for episodes, but, we'll leak them out slowly. We gotta leave you wanting more, something more.
I feel like between you and I, like there's just endless possibilities of what we could talk about.
Would agree. I'm really glad we're outside of the voice notes now. This is great. Come along for the ride, everyone. It's gonna get weird and joyful.
I'm so excited. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. So, thank you all for being here, and look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you next week.